and 13th in Abuja. The 2 days event will bring together editors from print, broadcast and online platform nationwide to discuss the role of media and strengthening democracy in national unity. According to the statement by the NGE President Eze Anba, the General Secretary Onaha Uke, and the conference themed democratic governance and national cohesion. The role of editors will be declared open at the State House Banquet Hall. Dignitaries expected include Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Said Abubakar, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who will deliver a keynote address, and this day Chairman Nduka, who will chair a major section. Other speakers include the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, as well as the security and the legal scholar Professor Anwokalu Dasan, who will speak on the election disputes and judiciary integrity, and also a bill to speak of Professor Sharif Ibrahim. Now moving to the next news headline, we see that the federal government also on Wednesday met with the members of diplomatic corps in Abuja to reject the United States designation of Nigeria as a country of a particular concern over the alleged religious persecution. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Duma Ahmed, classified that Nigerians' law are regional and neutral to protect all citizens. Now moving to the next headline of the predicted mass visa green card revocation by Soyinka. We see that the Nobel Professor Wole Soyinka has said that there's a foreseen mass revocation of U.S. visa and green cards, including his own, under the President Donald Trump administration. Speaking in BBC Pidgin interview, Soyinka revealed that the U.S. visa was recently revoked, confirming his early prediction that Trump will act against immigrants once in power. He described Trump as a petty-minded dictator who hates rhetoric-fueled racist tension and violence in the United States. The comments came as a renewed diplomatic strain after Trump accused Nigeria of Christian persecution and threatened U.S. military intervention if killings persist. Soyinka, who had previously torn his green card in protest after Trump's election, said that he since disengaged from U.S. states and returned to Nigeria. He explained that his decision to leave was voluntary, adding that he preferred to kick himself out rather than be forced to leave. Now looking at the last headline on that same Punch newspaper, we see that the crisis within People Democratic Party PDP depends on Wednesday as faction loyalty to Minister of Federal Capital Territory in Wike declared that the party national convention is scheduled for Ibadan from November 15th to November 16th would not hold. The group, led by the fraction acting national chairman Abdurrahman Mohammed, cited that the Federal High Court ruling that placed the convention on hold and insists the proceeding with its violated rules and law. Meanwhile, the PDP Board of Trustees, which met in Abuja alongside the acting national chairman Umar Daragum and other party leaders, maintained that the preparation for the convention should continue as planned. However, the Oyo State PDP, loyal to Governor Seyi Makinde, dismissed that Wike bloc's stance, describing them as a political comedians. The party insists that Ibadan Convention would proceed under the Damagun leadership, backed by the recent Oyo High Court order. Now moving to the next newspaper front page, we'll be seeing the Vanguard newspaper front page, where we see the Nigeria $2.35 billion airport massive oversubscribed in excess of $10.65 billion. We also see the big headline that foreign lobbyists fueling genocide claims in Nigeria federal government. We also see another headline in page 8 that Senate moves stiffer penalty for persons ripening fruit with harmful chemicals. And in page 8, we see that ASU accuses minister of meddling or misleading Nigerians and threatens to resume strike. And in page 20, we see that federal government is set to approved board for PPP project. And also the PDP crisis, BOT says natural urges reconciliation. Mohammed-led NWC calls of convention as leadership crisis boils over. We also see in page 11 that alleged terrorism, you have last chance to defend yourself, court tells Kanu. And in page 10, Tinubu, Sultan, Uzadima, others headline editors can confab. And in page 9, Nigerian telecom subscriber hits 173.5 million as broadband penetration reaches 49.3% on that particular newspaper. Now moving to the news, the headline on the federal government's steady dismissal of the U.S. President Donald Trump's allegation, which was targeted to Christians killing, Nigerian insisting that the claim is baseless and politically motivated. The minister Mohammed Idris, Yusuf Tegar, and Oyedele Alake, as well as Festus Kayamo, has coordinated a response emphasizing that the insecurity in Nigeria affects both Christians and Muslims, speaking at a separate event in Abuja. The ministers described Nigeria as a model of religious consistency with constitutional guarantees and freedom for religion. Also, we see that Idris linked Trump remark to foreign lobbyists misrepresenting Nigeria's situation, while Tuga assured diplomats that national security remains the top priority for Tinubu's administration. Minister Kayamo, in an open letter to Trump, rejected the genocide claim, stressing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government operates without religious biases, and many other security chiefs are up and doing. He urges that the U.S. engage constructively with Nigeria on the counter-terrorism rather than spread misinformation. We will be moving to the next newspaper front page, which is the Daily Trust newspaper. Now we see in that Daily Trust newspaper front page that Nas OK 14 years jail term for sexual harassment in schools, and we also see that the ex-NSA Abdullahi Mohammed dies at the age of 86. Our condolences to the family. And we also see that cholera kills 10 in Adamawa local government. We also see that contractors protest at National Assembly for the second day. And looking beneath it, we see that Nigeria rejects country for particular concern designation made by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, in page 4. And in page 34, we see that 2 children dies after falling into well. And we also see that federal government moves scale of refineries in page 39. Now diving into the main headline, the contractors protest at National Assembly, we see that there's an indigenous contractors under All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria, AICAN, have staged a 2-day protest in National Assembly in Abuja demanding payment for federal projects executed since 2024. The contractors who blocked the main entrance to the complex accused the government of neglect and selective payments, saying many of their members have gone bankrupt, sold their homes, or died waiting for payment. ICANN President Jackson Ifeanyi lamented despite the reported 760 billion naira payment warrants issued by the Ministry of Finance. No fund has been released. Lawmakers since have given a 7-day ultimatum to the Finance Minister, Wale Edu, and other officials to settle this debt. The protest highlights that Nigeria is worsening fiscal crisis with poor capital budget implementation and funding delays under Tinubu administration. Lawmakers and experts have criticized the government's approach, warning that if there's a continued use of the 2025 revenue to fund 2024 projects, it will show a fiscal indiscipline in the Nigerian economy. Now moving to the next newspaper front page. We'll be looking at the New Telegraph front page, where we see the federal government renews plan to sell PH, Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna refineries. And we also see that Nigeria lost 300 billion to crude oil theft in 10 years. Senate comes out to make the claim. We also see beneath it that Kano electric vehicle transition bill scales second reading in the Senate House in page 2. We also see that CBN's lack of monitoring endorsement foreign cameras as to sell tickets in dollars in page 2. And we also see that there's a terrorism charge. Court gives Nnamdi Kanu last chance to enter defense or forfeit it in page 5. And U.S. Democrats sweep key races as it wins NYC Memorial Race in page 5. We see the big headline that targeted killings, foreign lobbyists fueling claims. Federal government comes out to say in page 2, 4, 5, and 7 of that newspaper. And in page 7, we see that reps demand full execution of outstanding 2024-2025 projects as referring Tinubu's 1.15 trillion naira loan request to debt committee. And we also see that in page 27 and page 28, the court refuses DSS request to arrest Showore, and BOT wades into PDP crisis, set up reconciliation committee in page 2 and 30 of that newspaper. We also see that there's an insist on no ambition as a fractional loyalty can override party interest. We also see in page 5 that defectors in state assemblies automatically lost seats. Ita Enang has come out to say, and cockroaches position indoors air study comes out to say in page 28 of that particular newspaper. Now moving to the Daily Trust, the Daily Independence, newspaper front page, we see that federal government blasts foreign lobbyists over Nigerian Christian genocide claims. We also see that courts give Nnamdi Kanu final chance to open defense. And the big headline, how Nigeria lost $300 billion to crude oil theft by Senate, plan phasing out petrol cars, considering electric vehicles bill in the comment here. And we also see that in page 6 that ASU knocks minister for misleading public threatens to resume strike. We also see that Tinubu, Sultan, Uzodinma, and governors, other headlines editors confirm in page 7. And Nigeria lead as mergers acquisition redefines African energy in page 6. We also see that Trump threats top agenda at eminent leaders summit as Jonathan and Osibanjo, SGF, as well as others set to lead the dialogue in page 6 of that newspaper. And the last headline, we see that in page 7, Nigerians' non-interest capital market now worth 1.6 trillion naira in that same newspaper front page. Now moving to the last newspaper front page for today, we see the Guardian newspaper that BOT backs Damagun as Abdurrahman-led PDP suspend convention in page 3. If you look beside it, we see the presidency manufacturers agree to privatization of Port Harcourt as well as other refineries in page 3. And in that same page, stop celebrating worthless GDP figures. Osibanjo has come out to warn African governments. And we also see in page 6, that's the big headline, that referendum calls for heightened over enlisted constitution reform plot. And if you look beneath it in page 4, we see that Senate okays 14-year jail term for Randy lecturers. And if you look under that same headline, we see that again, federal government rejects CPC target as Falana dismisses Trump genocide claim in page 6. If you look beneath the picture of beneath that particular front page, we see that in page 30, Tinubu, Sultan, Uzodinma, and other headline editors conference an investor bet on Nigeria oversubscribed $2.25 billion airport over 400%, and WMO predicts 2025 as Nigeria's second hottest year on record in page 4. Now, moving to the leaders of the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPO Nnamdi Kanu, telling the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday that he was deceived into pleading to charge and does not exist in and does not exist. Justice James Omotosho, presiding over the case, gave Kanu one final opportunity to enter his defense by November 7th, or risk having the right to do so waived away. The judge, acknowledging that Kanu is not a lawyer, directed that the Department of State Service (DSS) grant him access to his former legal team and now consultants to prepare for his defense in the court. And if you look above it also, we see that Nigeria 2.33 billion airport issue on Wednesday has drawn a record-breaking $13 billion in subscriptions from global investors, the highest in the nation history. The dual tranche offering comprises a $1.25 billion 10-year bond and a $1.10 billion 20-year bond, both closing at lower rates of 8.63% and 9.13% respectively. The federal government says that these proceedings will finance the 2025 fiscal deficit and other national priorities. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu described the massive response as proof of investor confidence in Nigeria's ongoing economic reforms, while Finance Minister Wale Edun said it reflects the global trust in the country's growth economy. And the Debt Management Office (DMO) confirmed the investors from UK, North America, Europe, Asia, and other Middle East participated in the insurance alongside Nigerian institutions. Expert says that 400% oversubscription signals strong confidence in Nigerian economy and reforms agenda, citing the improved foreign exchange and the liberalization and fiscal management of the economy. Analysts predict that the development will boost foreign reserve and strengthen the naira, with reference to 1.1 billion airport maturing later in the month. The bond will list London and FMDQ and also Nigerian exchange. We would see on that particular statement when it comes out. Now we're going on a very quick short break. When we come back, we'll be diving into our tech news. Do stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Micro LED and next-gen displays. TVs, AR glasses, and smartwatches are about to look very different. Micro LED displays are now making their way into consumer products after years of R&D. Unlike OLEDs, micro LEDs don't rely on organic compounds, which means no burn-in and much longer lifespan. Samsung showed off massive micro LED walls at CES 2024, and Apple is reportedly working on adding micro LED to future Apple Watch models. Industry analysts project the global micro LED market will reach about $10 billion by 2030. The big draw is brighter screens, richer colors, and lower power use. That's important for wearables and AR/VR headsets where every bit of battery life counts.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacobs Deborah, and we're looking through different newspaper front page before we went on a short break, and now we'll be diving into our tech news for today. And the first on our list is a beautiful one. Google has announced an ambitious plan to construct artificial intelligence AI data centers out of space. Now, this is a part of the initiative Project Suncatcher. The project aims to deploy solar-powered satellite clusters into orbit by 2027 to meet the growing global demand of AI computing power. According to the report released on Tuesday, Google engineers envisions a network of about 80 satellites positioned approximately 400 miles, that is 644 kilometers above Earth. Each satellite will be equipped with advanced processors and interconnected via free space optical links. The company believes that the falling space launch costs operating orbital data center could become the cost-effective as Earth-based ones by the mid of 2030s. Google said that the initiative will help reduce the strain on terrestrial resources such as land and water, while maximizing the use of solar energy and up to 8 times more efficient space than Earth. The announcement follows a similar effort by SpaceX Starlink CEO Elon Musk, who recently disclosed his plan to develop space-based data centers. An expert says this move could make and mark a major leap in sustainable AI infrastructure and space technology. Now, we'll be diving into the next tech news for today, which is MTN Rwanda launches anti-odds solution to strengthen cyber defenses. We see that MTN Rwanda has introduced a new anti-DDoS solution aimed at protecting business across the country from growing cyber threats. The network disruptions and service is designed to detect and neutralize disturbed denial of service DDoS attack and target online platforms by overwhelming them with a malicious traffic. Speaking at the launch, MTN Rwanda CEO Monza A said that the initiative underscores the company's commitment to ensuring network reliability, security, and innovation in Rwanda's fast-growing digital economy. The anti-DDoS solution offers real-time monitoring, automatic protection, and seamless filtering of harmful data requests without interrupting legitimate users. According to MTN's representative, Didas Ndoli, says the service ensures that business remain connected, secure, and resilient amidst the rising sophisticated cyber attacks. The solution is capable and scalable to suit organizations of different sizes and providers continuous oversight through MTN Network Security Operations Centers SOC. Industry such as banking, e-commerce, healthcare, telecommunications, and government institutions are expected to benefit most from this technology. With this launch, MTN Rwanda positions itself as a leading force in digital resilience, empowering enterprise to safeguard their operation and maintain business in the continuity in increasing connected world. Now, this is a beautiful story from both Google and MTN Rwanda. We see that in MTN Rwanda, there's a need to look into the issue of cyber attacks on our cyberspace, and MTN Rwanda has taken that particular bold step to secure data, not just in telecommunications companies, but beyond there, they are moving into healthcare systems, and as well every other sector in the country. We pray that this particular move will be able to spread across Africa and not just remain in Rwanda alone. Now, the news on Google. This is a beautiful one. Google is looking for a way to power AI systems, but in all of this, we pray and ask that our data that are moving up and down will be secured and safe from all the cyber attacks that has been happening around the globe. Now we're closing on the newspaper review, but before I go and before I leave you, I would urge you to follow us on all our social media platforms as displayed on your screen, and do well to subscribe so that you can see pop-up notification come up whenever programs like this come up on your YouTube channel at Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah, and like I would always say, stay informed, stay safe. Bye for now.